there are certain cities, it's very, very few, but there are certain cities in the US that have very pure water and they don't require water treatment. And this is going to be very interesting to you. Boston is actually one of those cities. So Boston, New York City, San Francisco, Denver, and Portland, Oregon. These are the largest cities in the US that do not treat their surface water beyond disinfection because their water sources are in protected watersheds and thus are naturally pure. And it goes into Boston and how they get their water from this reservoir and the
Yeah.
Ware River and blah, blah, blah. So, and then
Yeah,
it goes,
when I went to school at UMass, I would drive by the reservoir. It was called the Quabbin Reservoir. It was like huge, but it was a man-made reservoir. I think in the post-World War II that it occurred. But yeah, I totally agree. The thing is, I still would never trust it just because I don't trust there's not some level of pesticide residue running off and getting in there at some way or another. So worst case, even if your water's clean, it can't hurt running it through a really good high quality, activated carbon type of filter that's going to at least keep a lot of that crud out for sure, just to be
yeah,
safe.
it goes into different parts of California and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's too risky. I mean, you could look at what they say and, oh, it's pure because it comes from here and there. But I mean, we've seen, I mean, look at the Arctic, right? I mean, we've tested polar bear fat and you've got all the PCBs and major toxin issues that far away where man has never stepped foot in general. So I think it's just much safer to just assume it's toxic, even despite what you're told.
Well, I remember just, water skiing in Lake Austin, you have all these multi-million-dollar homes on the side of the property with beautiful green lawns. And then when it rains, all that pesticide potential runoff's going into the water, right? And so there's definitely some of that that's happening. So you got to be careful, right? And we even know algae blooms and E. coli can get into the water, things like that. And, we hope some of the chlorine can get to that and help it. But just in case, I think it's worth having at least an activated carbon, higher quality filter through multi-stage processes with some kind of a post filtration as well to kind of get that under control. Usually you're going to get something at a 20 micron level or less or so at a filtration level to filter out larger particulate, some kind of a really good activated charcoal, activated carbon type of filtration to absorb toxins, which is very helpful. And there may also be other filtration that we do on the reverse osmosis side to get the smaller particulate out. So for instance, a reverse osmosis filter is going to get about 95% of the fluoride out. All right. If we do just an activated carbon, we may only get about 50% of the fluoride out. So an activated carbon, activated charcoal filter, very helpful. It's not going to get all the fluoride out. And there's still natural fluoride that may be in the water, whether it's calcium fluoride, some of the more natural ones that you find there, maybe not the sodium fluoride that's more synthetic, or the hydrofluorosilicic acid that may be a little bit more, let's say, amalgamated with other compounds in there. So you want to have a good whole house filtration system that's at least a activated carbon type of filter. And we're going to put some of the links below that Evan and I both recommend that kind of hit both these categories. So we'll put the links down below for you guys to look at. And these are the products that we personally use with our family and ourselves and our patients. And I've used them over the years. So we'll put those links down below. But the first thing I'd like is at least a whole house or an activated carbon kind of water filter. Now, we can start off with ones that are pitcher based. If you're a student or you're someone on a budget, that can be helpful for just putting water in and running a gravity filter through it. That's helpful. And then you may also want to get a really good activated carbon one for the showers to prevent the chlorine in the shower. We're not so much worried about fluoride in the shower because fluoride's not really a gas, but the chlorine can definitely kind of be more of a gas-like state, and that can also be inhaled when that hot water's coming in. So we want something to really focus on the fluoride and such when we're showering. So a good water filter is going to be helpful. Now, if you get a whole house water filter, the nice thing about that, you don't have to worry about all the different shower heads. You can just put that whole house thing on there and you'll be good to go.